Hello everyone. I recently wrote an article on my blog about encapsulation and I wanted to create the screencast in order to do a follow-up on that and provide a bit more examples on what I meant, and just to show you how I think encapsulation should be done. First of all, I think encapsulation is one of the four object-oriented programming principles that is most often I would say ignored, let's say, or people think of it a bit too simplistic, and that is because of the way we've implemented it so far. Encapsulation basically is a technique that allows us to protect the internal representation of our data from the outside world. And when I mean the outside world, it's basically outside of our class. In the article, I actually go over an example based on a product class, which I'm going to create right now. So just to make things, I'm not going to add it for the time being. So just to make things more concrete, let's just go ahead and create that and add a title field that's going to be a string and a double field that's going to be the price. Okay, in order to encapsulate the class, we would normally set these fields to be private and create access modifier methods called getters and setters, and we can do this right now. Okay, and I would like to make my life a bit easier, and I will also create a constructor that create the constructor. Okay, so now I want to see if this class is completely encapsulated. So I'm just going to create a test class for this, and we're going to write our first test. Okay, so let's just do this test, and we'll do void new product encapsulated. Let's say encapsulated. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a new product. It's going to be called water, for example, and it's going to be priced at 150. What I would then want to do is try to kind of change the fields. So I would actually, let me just split this and move it to the right. I would actually like to somehow change these fields over here. So I would like to try to do kind of product get, and I will try to replace let's say I will replace it by X, right? So this would normally I would expect water to be something like WXTR. Okay, and let's just do an assert of this. Assert equals, and the value I would expect this to be is WXTR, and product that get title. Okay, let's just import that as well and give it a go. Right, and obviously this is a very naive kind of assertion, because as everybody might know, the string is immutable, so when calling a method on that, it actually returns a new value. So it doesn't change the string itself, it creates a new one. So obviously this doesn't make any sense where we're getting water. And if we run this, all right, so now the test has passed. Similarly, double is also an immutable class, so there is no chance of changing the price once that has been set, except for actually calling the setter, which is the expected behavior. Okay, so the setter, that's what it does. It actually changes the price. But if we were to do something like product, let's do a variable called double new let's just actually write a new test for this. So test void new product setter, price setter. Let's do price setter, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take the same water product and let's do double new price, which is going to be, I don't know, like 165. And if we do product dot set price new price, all right, and we assert, and then we change new price to 145. Obviously, the product of the price of our product is still going to be 165. All right, so obviously, you know, there's no change because these are actually wrappers of the primitive, so you know it doesn't make any sense. So obviously for this very simple class, providing getters and setters is enough of an encapsulation. Okay, right, but what about if we go to a more complex kind of scenario? So let me just create a new class called promotion, and actually what I'm gonna do, let me just move it to the opposite group because I want to keep my classes on to the left and my tests to the right. And what I'm going to do for a promotion is I'm going to add a few fields. I'm going to add a double discount and two dates, so the start date of a promotion and the end date of that promotion. Okay, and next I'm going to add a list of promotions to my product. Okay, now let's see how we can deal with these and make them be used in an effective way. So we would most probably like to add the list of promotions to a constructor. Okay, so we'll generate a new constructor then, and we might actually like to have getters and setters for that as well. And let's start doing a few tests based on that. Okay, and we're going to do a test void new product promotions constructor kind of test, and let's do we'll create a list of promotions first, promotion list, and we'll make new array. Let me just import this as well, and I'll just add a promotion. Next I'll create the same product as I did before, and then I'm also going to pass in the promotion list. Okay, and now I want to do a few assertions based on this. So I will assert that the size of the promotion list is going to be 1. So just do product dot get promotions size is 1, and this is, you know, again, it's very naive. Obviously it's going to be 1, but let's try and change the promotion list, and let's add a new promotion to this one. So my expectation for this one, for a well encapsulated class, would be that the number of promotions that I've set over here is still 1, right? Because I haven't actually changed anything in regards to my object. Okay, so if we run the test, we can actually see that we've got 2. So this is a sign that the class is not well encapsulated, because from the outside of the class I can change its internal representation and alter its state in ways that ideally I shouldn't. Okay, so one first idea would be that here we would actually do a copy of the promotions. Okay, so let's just do this right now. Okay, cool. So now we've actually decoupled the object that we store within our class from the object that gets passed at the constructor, which is really good. Okay, let's just write another test and try to test encapsulation again. This time we're going to do it new product promotions setter. And I'm not gonna dwell too much on this one. It's gonna be pretty much the same. Just gonna copy everything over. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to call the setter here, and I'm gonna do product set promotion list. And again, if we just go and run the test, we're gonna get the same result. So it's 1. We're expecting 1, but actually this is 2. In order to solve this, we might actually do the same thing. Just do a copy of this, and now if we run it, everything's gonna be fine. Okay. There is one last point I wanted to make. So we could try to alter this by using the getter. So let's just write a test for that. Again, I'm just gonna copy paste this, and I'm just gonna do a getter here, and then I'm gonna pass it along the constructor, which is fine. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do product. I'm gonna get the list, and I'm actually gonna add a new promotion. And I would expect the list to actually be the same, right? So you would, and this should not quite work, right? So again, it doesn't. It seems that our class is not that well encapsulated for in this case either. So one approach here would again be to do new array list and just return a copy of this. However, you would expect the operations to the get operation to be called more frequently. So imagine you call this a million times, or I mean I'm exaggerating, but calling it a few hundred times, then you generate so many copies, and that's not quite memory efficient, isn't it? Right? So if we just run this test right now, obviously it works. But a more elegant approach for this would actually be to return an unmodifiable list version of this. Okay, so what this does is if we run it, right, we actually get an exception, because the unmodifiable list is actually a wrapper on top of our list that doesn't implement the add operation. So if we go inside and we look for add, we can see that actually this operation is not supported. Okay, so in order to actually write this, we can do something along the lines of this. So assert throws, and the class would be class, and we're just gonna pass in a lambda expression, and it's gonna be our code that we are expecting to throw the exception. And now just gonna run it again, and everything is fine. Okay, so in this way we've already kind of encapsulated the class a bit better. So but let's think of this again. So this approach with the unmodifiable list, we could actually apply this over here, right? So we could actually store an unmodifiable list. Yes, that is true. This would make our object immutable, right? So actually, our list as well. However, we might want to allow a user to potentially add promotions to the object. So we might want to do something along the lines of this: add promotion, just gonna do promotion over here and this promotion at, right? So we might actually want to do something like this, and making the list as an unmodifiable collection would kind of prevent us from doing this. So now it's up to you to decide based on, you know, your needs, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna store an unmodifiable list, or if you're going to go for this approach. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to discuss about encapsulation would be the actual need of getters and setters at some point. So that's why I created this promotion class. So for this promotion class, we could go on this very same approach as we did for the product class in the beginning, and just add getters and setters for everything, and they would and the class itself would be completely encapsulated. The discount field is immutable, and local date is actually, you know, that does not support any changes, so it's immutable as well. Again, you know, everything would be immutable. But we could do something that's a bit more interesting with encapsulation. So I'm just gonna go ahead and create the constructor, just so that I can easily create objects, and I'll also go ahead and create the default constructor, because I have all my tests here and I don't want them to fail. Okay, and let's go ahead and create a test class for promotion as well. Promotion tests. Yes, and let me just move it to the opposite group. Okay, so one interesting thing we could do using encapsulation is we might not actually want to expose the start date and the end date of our promotion. We might actually be interested in knowing if that promotion is active or not. Okay, so typically you would implement this in a kind of service class, but to me it makes more sense to implement it within the class itself, because then we would actually you know, abstract away the fact that we store a start date and an end date, and all other people that are going to use this class will just be interested if the promotion is active or not, and they might not care, you know, about the start date and the end date. Okay, so just one small thing, I want to make these private just to make sure everything is nicely encapsulated. Okay, let's write the test, and I'm gonna do void, I'm gonna call it promotion should be active. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is first I'm going to create, I'm just gonna create a start date and end date. Start date, which is gonna be local date of 2020, January 1st. Then I'm gonna create the end date as well, end date, which is gonna be 2020 February 28th, and let's just do local date, and I'm gonna assume this is the current date. Okay, so let's just make a local date of 2020, and today is the 1st of February, which is actually pretty nice. Okay, and then I'll create a promotion, which is promotion, and the discount for that promotion is going to be like, I don't know, given we'll most probably apply it to our water product, which was, let me check, our water product was 150. All right, let's just go like, I don't know, 15 cents. Is that, yeah, I think that's a feasible promotion. And I'm gonna pass in the start date and the end date, and then I'm going to assert that the promotion is active, and do promotion is active, and we'll pass in the current date. Okay, assert true. Right, and something seems to be wrong. Okay, let's check this out. Cannot. Yeah. Okay, let me just, or obviously we don't have this method yet, and I will just add it, create the method, and this still seems to be red. Okay, and we'll make this return a boolean, and let's see. All right. Okay, cool. So now everything's kind of fine. Let's just return false and run the test. Obviously the test is gonna fail, but that's okay. And now we'll implement the business logic, which is pretty straightforward. We're actually going to return start date is before current date, and end date is after current date. Okay, and then we're just gonna run the test, and voila, it works. Next thing I might want to do is just so to make the API a bit nicer, we might actually want to do an overload to this method. So is active, and if no argument is being passed, we're just going to return is active, and we'll do local date.now. Right, so we will actually run this. We will use the local date, assuming that, you know, if you don't pass any local date, you might want to know if the promotion is active right now. Okay, so in order to test this, we might actually need to do a bit of work around this. So first, let's just potentially write another test, because we want to make sure this works also for the negative case. So promotion should be inactive, and let's say that we are currently in 2019, and assert this is false. Okay, because we need this to all right, cool. So one test for this would be we might actually want to write a test for is active. Things will get a bit more complicated here because of this local date dot now, but I think we can make it work. We'll just write one test like promotion should be active now. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm actually gonna take the local date, and I'm gonna do local, and I'm just gonna do now. Local date now, and then I'm going to create another date, which is gonna be start date, and we're gonna do something like local date of and the year is gonna be now dot get year, and month is gonna be now dot get month, and the day is gonna be now dot get month get day day of month. I'm just gonna do -1. Okay, and the end date is going to be literally the same, except that we're gonna do it like this, end date, and we're just gonna add +1 to this, and then we are actually going to create a promotion, and it's going to be new promotion, pretty much the same, 15 start date, end date, and assert true promotion is active, like this. Okay, and hopefully it's going to work. If not, we'll try to debug it. So we'll just do the now minus 1 minus days, just do 1 day after, and obviously it's a lot simpler to do it like this now, and we'll do plus days and do 1 day afterwards, right? So the internal API will handle the conversion, and that should be fine. Let's just run this, and now it should be active, and everything looks great. Okay, so the next thing we might want to do is potentially we might actually want to add some kind of active promotions getter to our product class. So in order to do this, let's first write the test for this, and let's just do something like void. We'll do we'll do product, or no, get active promotions, something like this, right? So we'll kind of start off like we did for the previous examples, but we'll have to create, and we'll actually, no, I'll have to delete most of this because it's no longer relevant. We will do pass the promotion list to the constructor, but I will actually want to create a few particular promotions. So we'll do a promotion that's active promotion, and we'll do new promotion. It's going to be like 0.65 cents. This is a good promotion actually. And we'll do local date of 2020 January 1st, and this is going to end on local date 2020 February 28th, and we'll do the inactive promotion as well. Just call it like this, inactive promotion, and this one should start in March. Okay, so it starts and ends in March, and is, you know, like 15 cents discount. Next we'll add these promotions, inactive, and we'll just duplicate this, and we will add it as well. Sorry, active, and we'll create the product, and then what we'll actually do is we'll assert that we only have one active promotion and the size, and that actually that active promotion is the one, that only promotion is the one that we've actually expect to be. Okay, so obviously this is going to fail. Okay, and yeah, it's not going to return a list of objects, it's going to be a list of promotions, and then we'll run the test. Obviously it's going to fail, and let's just write some code for this, and we'll do return this dot promotions dot stream, and we'll filter promotions. So we can do, actually we can do a few things here. So I actually wanted to kind of do it in a different way, so we'll provide this kind of method later, but first let's create the one that receives a local date as an argument. So we'll do local date, we'll just call it now, local date of 2020, and let's assume it's actually today, 2nd of February, and we'll pass this along as now and now again. Okay, and this should also local date now. Okay, so we'll do promotion is active now, and we'll collect this to a list. Okay, and now if we run the test, everything should work. And this is, yeah, this looks pretty good now. Okay, so that's basically all I wanted to show you in regards to encapsulation. I really hope you find this useful, and feel free to comment in the section below. Thank you very much for watching this. Bye.